My name is Lynn, with my partner Steve from the UK. We bought a 300-year-old stone farmhouse and olive grove in Abruzzo, Italy, that we call Brambletie. Brambletie is situated just outside a small village overlooking the Adriatic Sea and the Maiella National Park. We've taken on the restoration and renovation of Brambletie ourselves to become our future home. We'd love you to come along with us whilst we learn new skills, a new language, live the lifestyle and explore the region with our dog Button. So Steve, where exactly are we and what we're doing here?
Feels like the south of France at the moment.
It's gorgeous.
Gorgeous weather, 20 degrees. We're at VMAC, which is the builders merchants, and we're picking up some steel, the rete, the mesh for the inside.
That was what we were talking about on one of the videos, weren't we?
Yeah, the rete is 3 metres by 2 metres, and I've got to balance it on top of the trailer, so that's going to be fun. It's not going to look good.
Oh, okay.
But that's what we're going to do. But I have all the bits to fix it on.
Oh, brilliant. So we shall just wait now for the man.
We've got to get some leño, wood.
Okay.
4 metres long.
They've got quite a lot of stuff here, haven't they?
Trailer's 2 metres long, wood is 4 metres long.
I'm not going to worry.
No, don't worry.
Okay. Now this is pretty delicate, as you can see. What we're getting is actually bigger than what our trailer is. But Steve thinks we can do it. So.
No, it's okay. I have
Obviously Button is having a good look. And it's not just this that Steve wants, he also wants some wood. Button doesn't like that noise. See if we can see him move.
Ok, io voglio 5 minuti.
Minimo è 8. Minimo 8, così come la vedi.
Ok, perfetto.
So Steve, how many are we getting?
15 pieces of wood now.
Oh my god.
4 metres long.
Okay.
Trailer's 2 metres long.
Ugh. But
Ouch.
you have got a little red thing.
I've got a saw with me as well.
Have you a saw?
Just in case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right then. Let's see what we're going to do next. How many?
Peso, dici?
15.
Dici. How many are we?
15?
How many are we getting?
Let's do 15. Is it on the heavy side?
Heavy.
That's it.
Okay.
And he's
How many are we going to get?
3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One on that one. Okay, 1 on.
How many are we getting?
15.
Oh. Okay, so how many pieces of steel? 3 pieces of steel.
Do you want a bow or a knot?
Oh, I just like a... I think we'll have a knot.
Oh, we'll have a bow.
We'll have a bow. I just think it might flow better. Hope we can do a nice bow that won't fall off.
There you go.
Good. So 15 pieces of this wood, and and we have 3 pieces of the steel, and you reckon it's not going to be too heavy?
No, it'd be all right.
Good.
It's a 1-ton trailer, should take the weight all right.
Okay.
And the car pulls it no worse.
Brilliant.
We've only got
And obviously we've got
a few miles.
we've got the observation person in the back.
Yeah, Button's used to all this.
Button observation.
He's well used to all this.
So now it's connect everything together.
Tagliamo 3 metri?
Yeah.
3 meters. Buono.
3 metri dammi la rete.
Excuse me.
Aspetta, ne ho presi 2.
Oh, very strong.
Aprilo tu.
Ah?
Qua fa più forza se lo apri tu.
Sì, ok.
Oh, fantastic.
Intelligente.
Okay, this is a big operation now. Everything has to be put in its place. Is that right, Steve?
Yeah, you just want to make sure this is secure properly.
For those of you that might have watched the video when we rescued David with the motorbike, remember there was a lot of tying there as well. Steve does like to tie things very secure. Is it okay, Batten? Are you okay still? Good girl. Do you like some water? You like some water? I think so. Let's get you some. Oh, you were thirsty, weren't you? Good girl. That nice? Can you see? You know what? I think this is a bit like a Christmas present for you.
Yeah, building materials.
Building
love it.
material.
Nice.
Now the thing is, I haven't got the wrapping paper that this sort of this big, but now that you've made a red bow, I think that would do it. Okay, should I be the sort of the knot inspector? So we have the red bow, and we have the bungees. We have knots, knots, knots. Steve. Oh, Button's popped her head out. You could just see at the edge there. A little bit more, Steve. We haven't paid for this yet, by the way.
Yeah,
Do you think so?
I think so.
Well, I think they realised that you couldn't run away that quickly with this sort of contraption that you've sort of built. You do realise that when we get to the other end, you've got the unravelling.
Well, we've only got a tight on one, so we might as well do it properly. You and me.
Yeah.
VMAG in Milianico to get some building supplies. We've got a lot of wood. We've got big sheets of steel. We've got some rebar, and it's all gone on the trailer.
And what you've also got is lots of things to tie.
It's all tied on properly.
With a red bow?
Car will fall apart before the trailer.
Oh my
We've
God.
got to get back quickly in the light.
Okay, so come on, let's go.
Let's go. Welcome back to Bramble Tie. Got the steel from the builders merchants, which is sitting right behind me. So this is the steel mesh that has to go on the walls. So there's a few things to think about. I'm just going to talk about a few things first, explain what this steel does and why we actually need it. So it's for reinforcement purposes. It's the kind of thing you put in foundations, and it's 10 centimeters. I think you can see that square there. So we are 10 centimeters across, 10 centimeters high. That's quite specific because that's part of the project. And the bar is 5 millimeters thick. And basically this gets pinned to the inside wall. Now why do we do that? I see a lot of buildings that don't have it, but it's part of the Italian seismic requirements, whether you're in the north of Italy, the middle of Italy or the south of Italy. It doesn't make any difference. Every house has to have it, and you have to have it on either the inside of the wall or the exterior of the wall. If you're putting in tornico, which means plaster, exterior plaster on the outside of the wall, then put it on the outside of the wall, then you can expose some of the stones on the inside. But if you've got stone like we have on the outside of the wall, pop a photograph in of that, then obviously we don't want to disturb that anymore, and our choice is to put it on the inside of the wall because the condition of the stone work on the inside is not really good enough to reveal. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's no great finishing stones there. Lots of Maella stone, large stuff, but I've explained before, in the semicirculars below the vaults, we're actually going to put the steel, and then we're going to render over the top of that. That'll also give us a chance to do what's called a humidity barrier. So that'll be using a rubberized paint on top of that render surface. So there'll be rubberized paint, render, this fixed to the wall, which has already been motor picked. It's already been filled. The structure's already been dealt with. So essentially, it's sort of halfway through our finishing jobs really, which is quite something. I've been waiting a long time for this. The problem is I don't know whether this fits. We bought it from the local builders merchants, and this is 2 by 3 meters, and they're very gangly, this steel. It's very unstable when it's a single sheet out on its own and you're trying to carry it. Of course we've got scaffolding on the building, and I'm not sure that we've accounted the entrance is going to be big enough to take the angle of the steel to take it inside the house. That's the only thing I haven't accounted for, but that's quite important. But nevertheless, we'll have a measure first, and then I'll decide how we're going to get it in the house. It is possible maybe to take it in through the top, but that means winching it up, swinging it round, taking it through, and taking it through the entrance I've made for the stairwell. But hopefully I don't need to do any of that. I don't really want to. What we've done at the moment is we've got 5 sheets of this. We got a great price on it. This is running about 65 euros a sheet at the moment, 2 by 3, as I said, 2 by 3 meters. 65 euros a sheet. Wow, that's so expensive. It really has gone mad. But 40% discount. That's because I've got the building company, so that's super helpful. And this is what I'm talking about when I talk to people in Italy. Start a building company. You don't have to use it for anything other than your own house. What you pay out in starting the company up and keeping it running, you save on the discount of materials. But you're doing everything in a legal manner, according to the project. You're bulletproof. Nobody can come and tell you you're doing it wrong. So it's good for us. I've spoken to a few people that have recently started building projects, and they're starting to see the idea that we've actually done. Maybe copy us, or maybe do the same thing as we're doing, not copy as such, because every project is different and all the needs are different. Anyway, let's get on with this. I'm going to see if this fits in through the doorway, and I've prepared a space. It's not exactly a dry fit, but it'll give you an idea of exactly what we're trying to do, because I can imagine it's not quite there at the moment, but I'm going to explain everything, so stay with us. Nice to see it's gone in. So this is the idea. So this fixes, I'll try and take a bit you can actually see, this fixes this wall. So we'll cut that out where the window is, that's not a problem. So then what we'll do is we'll put at various positions, probably metre 800mm spacings, probably 800mm in fact, yeah that sounds about right. We'll stick in a steel spigot into the wall. We'll anchor that into the wall. It will poke out about 1/2 inch, and then we'll tie with wire this mesh to that spigot, which will lock this against this wall, and that's there forever. And that's got to be done on all the walls of these radiuses underneath the vaulted ceiling. Not a particularly difficult job to do, a bit fiddly in places because we've got some proud stones, and I'll just knock away. We've got one key job to do before this goes on. So over the last few days I've been putting together an electrical drawing for plug sockets and plug switches, essential for any house, and we'll be running conduit, so that's protective conduit where you insert the cables, and the way they do it in Italy is you run the cables through the conduit to get to where you need to with a rabbit. That's a little thing you poke through, you'll see that when I start doing it. You attach the cable to this nylon rabbit, you feed it all the way through, and you can do quite long lengths getting through this tube without getting hooked up inside. And you basically pull the rabbit all the way through, and then you can pull all the cables through one by one. That's the way it's done here. So you can get the conduit in before you actually do the electrical fitting, so the first fix as they call it. So that's good. What you will see is above, I'll show you above. So we'll need more steel here, and then that steel will attach, it'll just overlap slightly inside, and I'll just wire that in, put the spigots in the wall and anchor them in, the same as I will do for this piece. We've also got some finishing down on the left and right hand side. I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll take you off the tripod and I'll try and show you. So this is how the steel is fitted in. So as I come up, you'll see the radius of the vaulted ceiling starting to go around here. That's it. So all that's got to be filled in with steel. So I'll do an offcut and then get that radius cut in as well. I'll show you how I do that. So that's pretty straightforward. Go round to the top and you can see all that needs to be steel as well. And if we go round to the right hand side, we've got exactly the same kind of gap there, and obviously you can see we're going to have wall sockets somewhere in here, and obviously we've got to account for light switches and any other outside electrics that we want where we bring the cables through the house. We've got to think about that before this mesh is fixed to the wall. We'll just grind this window out, and if I can bend this section so it leans down, so it provides the base, then we'll do that. Or we can cut across, we can lay the mesh flat on here, and then we can just simply tie these together with wire cable. As long as they're tied together, that's perfectly okay, that's within our specification. So that's 100mm square or 10cm square steel, and the thickness of that is 5mm, and the anchor rod that I'm going to put in the wall is going to be 8mm rebar, and that, believe you me, is not going to go anywhere once it's in this wall. So all this wall has already been prepared. So what we're looking at is, obviously on one of the last videos we spoke about doing this wall here, and what I've decided to do is probably do this in tandem with this wall. I'm going to do this wall first. It'll just give me, because it's a fairly straight wall without too many problems, it should be relatively easy to do, but like anything on this house, you say the word easy and all of a sudden you come up against other problems. And what I want to do is just, I can get the spigots in, and I can hang the steel on the spigots so it shows you what I'm doing there, and then obviously I don't need to tie them on, because obviously if I've got electrics going through, then we can consider where we're going to bring those electrics, how far from the floor, those electric boxes are going to come. Obviously the floor is the subfloor at the moment, so we're going to be coming up another 4 to 6 inches with insulation. We've got underfloor heating going in there, surface of concrete, all that sort of stuff, and more reinforcement going in on the floor, so that will protect us even more from humidity. But importantly, I'll spray in on the wall where our sockets are going to go, and we'll then decide on the electric sockets whether let's just put you back on there. We'll measure up the electrical sockets, so the back boxes for the plug sockets, which we'd all know, which normally on a regular house would just be inset on the wall. Let's put you a little straight, a bit cockeyed at the moment. In our case, we'll channel the conduit up we'll run the conduit along the floor. There's a channel beside the cement and beside the wall, and we'll run the conduit in there, and then we'll go up the wall, and it's whether we go inside the steel or outside the steel. What we need to do is measure how deep the conduit boxes are. So I really like quite deep ones. The reason being is if you've got quite a lot of cabling, it's not difficult to get the cables into the terminals, and you've got space to work inside that box. They're not very big, and if you get the shallow ones, everything is really pushed and forced in there, and there's no need to do that here. We can probably use the slightly deeper boxes, which we haven't got at the moment, so I've got to go and get those. Probably get some samples in. The electrical wholesalers near Castley, which I've been told about, which are particularly good. So we'll pop down there and we'll go. They shouldn't be very expensive, but if you haven't done the electrical preparation before this steel goes on, you're going to cause yourself problems. Some of the wood that we bought from Virmac the other day is just pine strip wood. It's cheap, it's economic priced. It's 4 meters long and it's about €4 a length. And one of the jobs we've got to do, and I'm going to put some pictures in and video, is rebase the trailer. Over the past few months the trailer's finally given up the ghost after being here a few years in the open weather. The trailer itself is fine, it's galvanised, strong as an ox, all the wheels are good and the bearings are great. So I've just rewired it, and just for the sake of doing it really, it won't last forever, the wiring, and we're just going to replace the wood, so I'm going to show you how to do that. I've got a couple of boards there and here, you can't see this one, and one in the middle, and they're just going to act as cross planks to keep these boards from bending and twisting over the next few years. This wood should last probably 3 or 4 years. We've used it for the raised beds and it's proved to be fantastic. It gives you a solid base, and also it gets what we've done is we've painted it. Once we've cut the lengths up, which are all done, they're all standing next to the van here, so that's it complete. All the wood is to length, and what I've done is I've coated it in the olive oil and vinegar mixture that Lynn used for the raised beds wood. I've been checking that wood over the last 3 years. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. That's great. Right, so I'll just start putting the boards down now, one by one, and I'm going to put a little gap in between the board so the water can fall through when it rains.